So this is probably the dumbest, most financially irresponsible intro I've ever filmed for the channel. I'm literally about to drive 3 hours to do something that's going to take roughly 10 seconds. I'll see you there. We are here on campus, Middle Tennessee State University, and I drove all the way out here to do one thing and one thing only. Before we get into the video, I just want to remind you guys that I have some new Miami themed shirts on the merch store, and you can check them out by clicking the top link down in my description. I really think that this is some of the most unique Canes game day gear on the market. You're gonna love them. What's going on, Canes fans? No, the intro was not a joke. It was not some sort of green screen effect. I literally drove 3 hours to the MTSU campus just so I could throw up the U in front of their sign. Was it a smart financial decision given today's gas prices? Absolutely not.
Listen, you little wiseacre. I'm smart, you're dumb.
Would I do it again anyways? Absolutely. So after a grand total of 6 hours driving round trip, it is time to preview the number 25 ranked 2-1 Miami Hurricanes versus the unranked 2-1 Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders football game. Say that 10 times fast. But before we dive in, just a few brief announcements. First off, do not forget to leave a like and a comment down in the comment section on this video to be entered to win a free t-shirt from the Coach Coop merch store. And yes, I said free t-shirt from the Coach Coop merch store. Who doesn't like free t-shirts, man? I mean, come on. And that's literally all you got to do. Leave a like and a comment. I've been picking random winners every single week. Second, no special guest picker for this week's preview video. I know. Come on, here come the boos. Throw your tomatoes at Coop.
You bottom feeders!
This one, man, I'm going to keep it real, just comes down to me. I put way too much on my plate for the Texas A&M week. I was just way too busy. And I forgot to line up a special guest picker for today's preview video. It will be back after the bye week for the North Carolina game, so we'll get right back to it. But this one's on me, and I just wanted to apologize for that. And last but certainly not least, a huge shout out and round of applause to all of you. We hit 19,000 subscribers on this channel last week, and I'm blown away by all of the support on this channel. You guys have stuck with me through thick and thin. We've seen some highs, but we've also seen some lows. And I thank you so very much, because this would not be possible without you. I get to do what I love every single day. And again, it just wouldn't work if you guys weren't here to make this happen. So thank you so much for the love and support. And I'm just going to say this. Do we maybe hit 20,000 by the end of 2022? Hey, I think we can do it. But with all of that out of the way, let's dive into this preview video. And I'm just going to keep it real and be blunt right out of the gate. I fully understand that it's difficult to be hyped after we lost. I mean, you know, it was a tough game against Texas A&M. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. We could continue to talk about it and debate it. But at the end of the day, we took an L 17-9. So then when you follow up with an inferior opponent like Middle Tennessee, the enthusiasm is pretty low. But we have to understand, guys, that we are only 4 weeks into the season. Thankfully, that Aggies loss is a non-conference loss, and this upcoming Middle Tennessee State game gives us an opportunity to continue to work on some issues that we're having before our bye week, and then we get into ACC play. So this game is so important. There's absolutely nothing wrong with criticism. But if you're not still excited to watch this team take the field on Saturday, I don't know what to tell you. So who are the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders? They're a Conference USA team that has a lot of experience. They run a lot of 4 wide out of the shotgun, and they love to get the ball out quickly. Their quarterback, Chase Cunningham, is in his 5th season, and he knows this offense very well. He has a quick release and is currently completing roughly 73% of his passes. Now, even with that being said, this is a team that ranks 112th nationally in total offense. That's not very good. And I can sit here in front of this camera and pretend to talk that team up, but at the end of the day, it's Middle Tennessee. There's a good chance that you knew very little about them until this week, and it's also very possible that you might not have even known about them at all. Let's call this game what it is. An opportunity to take out our frustrations after last week's loss, and one last opportunity to work out any issues that we're still dealing with before kicking off our ACC schedule. That's the truth. But obviously, everything is not just fine and peachy with Miami right now. Our red zone offense looks very questionable, to say the least. Tyler Van Dyke hasn't really looked like himself. He just seems kind of off or uncomfortable in this offense. And we're still looking for a wide receiver to step up and be that #1 guy now that X is injured. We also thought early on that special teams was something we would be able to lean on this season. But after a muffed punt last week and multiple missed field goals so far this season, we're nowhere near where we want to be. But it's not all doom and gloom for the Miami Hurricanes. I'm happy to say that it really seems like DJ Ivey and Corey Flagg have continued to develop and improve as the season progresses. And we all know that, they were receiving a lot of criticism from Canes fans, but in my opinion, they've stepped up to the plate. And also, just defensively speaking, we currently rank 2nd in the ACC in points allowed per game. But let's jump over and take a quick look at the history between these two squads. Miami and Middle Tennessee have played 2 times in the past, and the Blue Raiders actually lead that series. That's right, they lead the series 2-0. And what's kind of funny about that is I saw some Blue Raiders fans bragging about this on social media. Yes, they do have fans. Again, I was on their campus and I saw a lot of people, in the football gear and whatnot. So they do really actually have fans. I promise you they do. But it was just so funny seeing them brag about this when you consider the fact that those 2 games were played in 1931 in 1932. Now, I get it. At the end of the day, they do own the series, and Miami has actually never even scored a single point against Middle Tennessee. But just to help you fully grasp how far back that was, during that time, the United States was experiencing the Great Depression, and also Amelia Earhart had just completed the first nonstop solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean. So, needless to say, that happened a long time ago. Anyways, let's take a look at some average stats so far this season for both of these teams. Some of you guys are still processing what I just said about the history between these 2 teams. But it's time to move on, y'all. Come on now, get it together. Just keep in mind that I round these stats up or down respectively, so no 0.6 or 0.4. So kicking this thing off, average points per game so far this season, Middle Tennessee coming in at 30, Miami at 36. Points allowed against them per game, 23. Miami coming in at a very respectable 12. Yards gained average so far this season, Middle Tennessee at 311. Miami 476. And yards allowed against them per game, MTSU 335. Miami coming in at 279. So now let's transition over to 3 keys to a victory for both of these teams in this one. And let's kick it off with Miami. Coming in at #1, if our D-line can't get to Cunningham, we have to make sure we get our hands up as much as possible. They like to get the ball out quick, so even if we don't rack up sacks, let's bat down some of those passes. #2, good tackling in space will be important in this one. Middle Tennessee has a slot receiver that picks up a lot of yards after the catch. And lastly, this really goes without saying, but we have to see the timing and chemistry improved between TBD and the receivers. It's off so so badly right now. And, you know, a lot of people are going to complain that that made it into the keys to a victory, because I understand it's such an obvious one and it's what we've discussed all week. But I cannot stress this one enough. It's not possible for me to put enough importance on that one, because, again, we need to figure those things out, because ACC play is coming up in 2 weeks. And now moving on to 3 keys to a victory for Middle Tennessee in this one. And coming in at number 1, they will have to find a way to slow down Miami's run game. The Canes are averaging over 215 rushing yards per game. Last week, Middle Tennessee held Tennessee State to an average of just 2.3 yards rushing per carry. However, let's just keep in mind, this is a huge jump in the level of competition. So we will see how their defense fares against a much more powerful Power 5 opponent. Number 2, Miami is still giving up way too many first downs and chunk plays. I realize that Middle Tennessee doesn't take a ton of deep shots, but they do have a big body 6'4" wide receiver. Take some shots in this game. Miami's offense was stagnant last week, so if the Blue Raiders could find a way to put up some points early on in the game, Miami seems to struggle to put up any points at all. And lastly, force Miami into 3rd and long situations. Other than the Bethune-Cookman game, which was an exception, our 3rd down efficiency has been absolutely terrible. We don't have a true go-to receiver right now, so 3rd and long, honestly, is our worst nightmare. But now it's time.
The moment you've all been waiting for.
My official score prediction for this game, because I know that's the reason why all of you watch these videos, right? You watch these so you can skip to this part, take a look at my prediction, and then make fun of me later if I'm wrong. Don't lie. Don't you lie. I know you guys do it. And you know what? It's okay. I'm not even mad, because, you know, I put myself out there on this platform, and you expect some criticism when you do something like that. I was, in fact, wrong about the Texas A&M game last week. I predicted a Miami dub. You're not going to get all of them right. Just thank goodness we're not eating our score predictions anymore. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you know what? I was going to tell you to look back, but don't do that. Let's just not even talk about it. But I really should have stuck with my brain. Honestly, I'm going to keep it real. My brain told me that Miami would lose that game, not due to talent, not due to coaching, but due to the stage being too big. And that ended up playing a little bit of a part, but some of it actually came down to coaching, red zone play calling, all that. But the point I'm trying to make here is my offseason prediction was a loss in that game, and I switched it up last second. Literally the day I filmed the preview video, I changed my mind and gave Miami the win. Now, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because my official prediction was a win for Miami. So I was wrong. I am not making excuses, but it's just a reminder to myself to set my Canes pride to the side in these preview videos, which is what I try to do, and, you know, give a realistic score prediction. But before we do it, the OGs around here know what's coming up. We got to take a look at the completely pointless ESPN matchup predictor. They have Miami's win percentage chance coming into this game at 94.4% and MTSU at a measly 5.6%. So not a lot of hope for MTSU in this one. They do have Miami currently as a 25.5 point favorite, and the over-under coming in at 52 points. So do what you wish with that information. So for this game, my official score prediction, I'm going to give Miami 42. And I'm going to give the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders a whopping 10. Now, hear me out for a second. I really, truly feel like in this game, we come out and take our frustration out on these guys. It is, in fact, an inferior opponent. We're talking about a Conference USA team. And I understand that I'm probably going to get some negativity for this score prediction, because people are going to say, Coop, we only put up 30 on Southern Miss. We could only muster 9 points, only field goals against the Texas A&M Aggies. And you're telling me, Coop, that we're going to put up 42? I understand. Xavier Restrepo is down. Jacoby George comes in off of suspension and ends up breaking his hand or his thumb, so we're down another receiver. But it doesn't change the fact that this is still an inferior opponent, and I don't think that we scored to the level of we did against Bethune, right, which was 70. Southern Miss was 30, so I feel like 42 is kind of not quite half, but it's kind of in between the two a little bit. But I do still expect some struggles on offense as we still try to figure this thing out. But at the end of the day, Middle Tennessee cannot keep up with Miami. This is hopefully not only a confidence builder and a rebound game, but again, I can't stress it enough, a game where we can kind of work out those final kinks, timing, chemistry issues, because we sure as heck have to, because North Carolina knows how to put up some points, but I don't want to look ahead to that game. Again, this is a game where we kind of take out our frustration. What honestly I really want to see is that killer instinct. I need to see that killer instinct return, or maybe we haven't seen it at all so far this season, especially after taking that L last week. So let's come out, let's flex on these guys, and let's just run away with this one. Honestly, not in the second half of the ball game, in the first half. Can we run away with this game going into halftime? I think it's super important, and I think that Canes fans should still be hyped for this, and I think that you should not underestimate the importance of this game. Please don't. But make sure you leave a comment down below, as I said, to be entered to win a free t-shirt from the Coach Coop merch store. Let's chop it up about this game. You can still vent about the Texas A&M game. Just anything. Just chop it up about Miami down in the comment section below, and I will directly reply and let you know if you win a t-shirt. Otherwise, we'll just chop it up and talk about the game. Hey, remember though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I gotta say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.